Push a P. Yeah, push a P. Turn me up. Turn me up, P. Pointers in the paddock in my piece. I'm push a P.
Cop new hammers for my P. We don't want no peace.
What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the Uncensored Entrepreneur Show for Couples. It's been a while. My name is Eric.
I'm Cierra.
And basically what the show is it's a show where we talk about just us and our life, is awesomely exciting as that sounds. So basically, our target audience is really anybody that's in a relationship that one or both are an entrepreneur, or that aspire to be an entrepreneur or aspire to be, in a relationship and you currently are an entrepreneur. Basically, we just talk about our shit show and the things that we have been through and overcome, some of them barely. And just basically, it's a whole lot of us telling you what not to do. That's our credentials are all of the times that we have, fucked up and done things that maybe we didn't handle them in the best way in our marriage, in our relationship with each other, with ourselves, with our faith, with our kids, whatever. And we're just trying to tell you, hey, don't do it that way. So, who's our intro song? Who sings that?
I don't know.
I get copyright notifications on every single podcast that we. So I don't, I'm still doing it. So I don't know what that means.
You need to put I do not own the rights to this music in the caption.
I don't know if that's a real thing.
It is. So
either that or maybe all of our podcasts have no audio now because of that. I don't know. We should go back and listen to
check,
it.
Yeah.
So maybe you got up into 3 days until I get that next copyright notification for the song. So the artist of Push and P, just give me rights to use it on my podcast.
Sounds
anyway,
easier.
So today, just a quick episode for you. Today, we're going to talk about, Cierra is actually going to do most of the talking. Shocker. And we're going to talk about, don't let your past define you. Everybody's been through some shit, some worse than others. But as an individual, it's always the worst shit, right? And how do you overcome that? How do you overcome that in your relationship with your husband or wife, or overcome that in your relationship with your kids? In business, just in your day-to-day life, shit consumes you. And just overall, I guess, would you say that's a good theme, is just don't let the past define who you are, or the struggles that you've been through. Struggles that you've been through essentially does define who you are, but don't live in that and don't let it negatively affect your life.
It doesn't have to define who you are forever.
Yeah.
I guess.
So, anyway, take it away, Cierra.
I don't know where to start. I don't know. We're getting deep, y'all. I don't know. I guess I was just going to talk about my past before Eric. I just don't know how much I want to say. I don't know. That's what I didn't really think about.
Well, that's something you probably should have thought about before I hit the record button, but we're in it now. And our one listener, Caleb, is listening, so.
It's real. Caleb, get ready. So from the time that I was 17 to 20, I was in an extremely toxic relationship. It didn't start out toxic, obviously, like most don't. But shortly after we started dating, the true colors started coming out. Trigger warning, I am going to talk about domestic violence in case anyone is listening and is triggered by that. He just became extremely abusive. I can remember probably 20 times just off the top of my head that he put his hands on me. And I'm sure there's more that I've mentally blocked out because it was super scary. It was always unprovoked. I never did anything. I know that might sound weird. I know I don't need to explain myself, but for example, I mean, I'll just get into it a little bit. One time I brought him like a bagel sandwich that I just made. I made breakfast. I was trying to be nice, start the day off good, and he didn't like the way I made it. So he ended up coming in the room and throwing the entire bagel sandwich at me with like hot ass eggs on them, and then made me clean it up. Another time we were jogging through the park because we were trying to exercise, and I said something he didn't like, and he punched me right in the mouth in front of multiple people that were also at the park. Nobody did anything about it. Nobody tried to help me, which I didn't expect them to, because he was kind of a scary person, so nobody could have known what he would have done. But it went on for a long time until my family finally said, enough was enough. They didn't know the whole time it was going on. All his friends knew. His friends would watch him hit me. They would watch him like break my stuff. He broke a laptop that I had just gotten for graduation. Just broke it right in half over his knee. But I obviously hid it from my family because I thought I was in love. And I mean, it just obviously sounds so crazy once you're out of it. But at the time, I felt like I had already chosen him over my family. So part of me felt like I couldn't go back to my family for help. But really, I know that I could have gone to them at any time and they would have helped me. It just took a while for me to get honest with them and let them know what was really going on. So they finally, helped me. I moved in with my grandma. He got kicked out. He moved to a different state. Hopefully he's still there. And that was just kind of the end of it. I never got therapy for it. I never talked to anyone about like the extent of things that he did to me. I just kind of moved on. I was like, okay, it's over. Like, I can just move on with my life now. Everything will be fine. Like, I'm safe now. When in reality, I mean, I'm now, as I've gotten older, I'm now seeing how it has affected me the entire time. The way that I react to things, my trust issues with people. Even like if I see someone that looks like him in a store, like it makes me want to throw up, like right then and there. I have nightmares. I've been diagnosed with PTSD. So I am in therapy now, however many years later, 33 now. And I guess just as I've gotten older and been through more life experiences and obviously seeing how I should be treated by a man, it just kind of told me that I need to work through those things so I can hopefully stop thinking about them and stop letting me affect my daily life, because it does affect me. Once I realize it does affect me more than I like to admit. Even just this morning, I was up at 4 a.m. and something just put in my mind. It just made me, I just like relived everything that he put me through. And usually I would just like lay there and try to go back to sleep if something like that happened, if I had a bad dream or something. But you woke up and you were like, are you sleeping okay? Which doesn't ever really happen, so that was kind of weird. And I told you all the shit that I was thinking about, and you're wonderful. So you helped me fall back asleep, made me think of something much better. So yeah, anyways, now I am in therapy and I am working through that stuff with a trauma therapist, and I'm just really excited. Like I've always been kind of ashamed to talk about it and embarrassed about what I've been through, but now I'm excited because I'm on my like healing journey. And if there is like anybody that I can, just one person that I can help with my story or inspire them to get the help they need, I don't know, then it's worth it to me to share what I've been through. And I'm an open book. If people want to talk to me about it, I'll talk about it, but I don't want to spill it all out right now because it's a lot of stuff. But it's just, I'm just excited to be working on myself finally. You know, I have just focused on the kids for the last 13 years, and I've just always kind of put myself to the side so I can make sure everyone else is happy. And now it's time to make sure that I can, you know, that my cup is full so I can take care of everyone else. And I'm just really excited because it's already helping when we're out talking to people. I've learned to let my guard down a little bit, realize that not everyone is going to hurt me. And I don't know, I'm just, like, part of me is sad that it took this long to come to all these realizations and get the therapy that I need, but I feel like it's also happening at a really good time in our life when, you know, our business is doing really well, we're meeting a lot more people. If we were doing all this stuff like 6 years ago, I would probably be a wreck. So I just feel like I'm in a better place now, and I'm just excited to words have left my brain.
To heal, right? So on that, you haven't been doing therapy for a long time. You're not at the end of it, right?
No,
I don't know, you know, and understand, audience, that I haven't gone through this. So everybody handles trauma differently. And I knew that Cierra had been through things in the past, and she has explained a couple of things. The jogging in the park story was one of them. It might even be the only one. I think maybe the bagel one. But point is, you know, how do you talk to somebody about that? You don't, right? You don't talk to somebody about that because you don't want them to think about it. You don't want them to live it, right? And this is why I'm not a therapist, is because I don't know how to deal with that. And so...
And they also ask the wonderful question, why didn't you just leave?
Right, which is probably a question I've asked, you know, or at least thought of for sure. But so understand this. Yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night and she was laying there. I think her eyes were open, and I just noticed, and I don't know what time it was, but it was not time to get up. And I think maybe I asked that question because I felt bad, because I know that, I think you said you slept like shit the day before because of the kids or something like that. Yeah. But in terms of, you know, how long have we been together? 12 years?
Almost 13.
Almost 13 years. So we know each other very well. And so for me, like, her answer, like I said, like, are you sleeping okay? And she said no. And normally, if she did say no, because she's the kind of person that would say yeah, just because she didn't want to burden me with me consuming it. Or if she did say no, it would stop there. Or I think I said, why? What's going on? And you know, she wouldn't give me the real answer, normally. But with zero hesitation, she just said, well, I've been laying here, like, reliving all of the times that this person, you know, abused me or beat me. I think beat me is the word you used.
I said beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, and you know, to hear that, one, I have to acknowledge how proud I am of you to be able to talk about it a little bit more now. And two, you know, I don't know if it was triggered by a dream. I don't know what triggered it. Obviously, you know, we you know, you're in the middle of therapy, so I'm sure it's open to box, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and my question to you, because I'm not an expert, is, well, you know, what are you doing? Because, of course, I go in panic mode, like, how can I help? And really, there's no way, I don't think, for me to help, but it was really just like, hey, are you doing what your therapist taught you to do? Like, find you. But then again, it goes to show you know, how uneducated I am on the process, because, you know, she's like, well, she told me, you know, go to your happy place, you know, essentially was the gist of it. But you're not supposed to when you think of the trauma, right? Because you don't want to associate the two.
Yeah, you're supposed to practice, like, finding your peace and, like, deep breathing and picturing yourself in your happy place. You're supposed to practice that while you're calm, so that your mind can get there easily. If you only do it when you're freaking out, it's not going to work.
Then you associate the two
Yeah.
together. Yeah. So
Yeah.
just that your level of awareness of that and how you were just kind of laying there, like just waiting for it to pass kind of thing. And so that I just asked you a question if you remembered. It was the first thing that actually it was the second thing. The first thing I was like, oh, she probably doesn't remember that. But it was just something that I randomly popped in my head because I thought of that picture that comes on my time hopper, her sitting in the crib.
Yeah.
You know, do you remember the time we went to Glamis and we took Delilah and she was sitting in a crib in the middle of a sandstorm? Or like, not a crib, what do they call it? Playpen.
Playpen, yeah.
You know, and the thing was like filled with sand, like quickly.
Yeah.
And
we
then
took her out.
she had this shirt. Was it a Big Belly Crew shirt?
Yeah.
That said, sucking tits and taking shits, or something like that, which is the greatest shirt alive for a kid, by the way. And the thought crossed my mind randomly because I was trying to think of like, what can I get her to think of to like, to put herself in that place to like remember. And then I don't remember if I asked if that was the time that we brought the expo to doing it, but I think I intended to and then fell asleep. But just little tiny parts of a trip that she would remember to where maybe she can start thinking, like divert her thinking. So that was my tactic. I don't know if it worked or not, but
It did. It helped a lot actually because I couldn't pull myself out of it. Even if I try to like think of something else, my mind just goes back to the original thought, I guess.
yeah.
And plus talking to you for a minute helped too.
Yeah.
So.
And I want to say, like, you know, the moral of the story, right? There's several, right? But I want to say the moral of a story is, well, like, you know, she went through that past, and she, you know, and look at her now, like, she's a boss ass bitch, and you know, co-running a multi-million-dollar company, you know, building a team of employees, you know, motivating and promoting them, and yada yada yada, which is all true, and that is a great takeaway, and it just goes to show that you don't stay living in you can't get rid of your past, right? You can't change it. You can only change your future, and so using your past that built you to then strive to you know, overcome it or break that cycle or break that chain, and like not living in there in like a woe is me mentality and a victim mentality, meaning that your life is negatively impacted for the rest of your life because you were a victim. And though you were a victim, but I think that was kind of the direction I was going in my head with how this episode was going. But I think more now, it's more like you're still in it, right? So all of that is true. And that is a good takeaway, and it is you know, a fact, like whatever word I use, moral of the story, right? But I think that since you're still in it, it's more or less like, hey, like speaking to other people that might be in the same situation, whether you're currently in the situation and you need that vision, that sight to get out of it. Meaning you're currently with that person, or it's happened to you in your past and it's still affecting how you live today. What to that person, you know, like you made a comment saying, I'm mad at myself for waiting this long, but then you also made a conflicting comment saying, I think if I would have done it 6 years ago, I would have been a mess. But not to insinuate wait until the time is right, right? Because then it'll never happen. Like what would you say to the person that is where you were 13 years ago, or however, you know, 15 years ago or whatever, and then 2, what would you say to the person who was that person and is still struggling today to, you know, live life on their terms and live life as a quote unquote normal person, as you used to say, without having to, you know, fight these demons and let it, you know, affect their life?
For someone that's still going through it, like currently, it's hard because when you're in that situation, you're not going to listen to anybody, like no matter what. Like I was so brainwashed by this person that if he like told me the sky was red, I would have believed him. Like it was sick. It's the attachment you get to the person. Nobody else can get you out of it really, until you get to the point that you want to, or that you're willing to let someone help you. Like I during the longest part of our relationship, like I never tried to get out. I don't know why. It was just.
Was it, and I'm curious, sorry to interrupt, was it a fear thing, or was it,
Oh, it was totally a fear.
or was it like you didn't think you were like worth getting out? You didn't think you were worth being with somebody else?
Well, probably both. A fear because I knew what he could do to me. I knew that he knew where all my family lived. When we broke up, we were living with my grandma. So if he were to ever do something to her or something like that, that was a big fear of mine. And then, yeah, feeling worthy too. Like, if I leave him, I'm going to have nothing. I'm going to have nowhere to go. I'm not going to be able to provide for myself, which was all extremely untrue because I was only like 19, 20. Like, I was just starting my life. I could have done anything. But he had also like beaten into my head that I was worthless, that nobody else would ever love me, that, you know, I would never, like, nobody else would love him as much as, or nobody else would love me as much as he did, you know, all those things that just really, really brainwashed me. And I can't tell you why I thought that it was okay or normal or whatever, but it just, if you're going through it, all I can say really is just ask your family for help. I feel like, or, you know, someone you trust, talk to someone. There's always something you can do. There's always somewhere you can go. I know it's easier said than done, but even if it's like a QT cashier, like those are the safe haven places. Like if you run into a QT bathroom and tell them that you're trying to hide, they will not let that person in. They won't tell you that you're there. Like I know it sounds silly, but like when you're that desperate to get out of a situation like that, that's life or death, you need to do what you have to do to live, you know, especially if you have children. Thank God I did not have children with this person. I can't imagine how my life would be right now, probably living hell. But you just talk to someone you trust, anybody, and just do what you can to get out of there. Know that no matter how old you are, you can always start a new life. You can always start somewhere. You can make a new life for yourself. It will be better. You are worth it. I mean, I keep thinking about how he gave me that when he hit me in the mouth, his dad saw a couple days later that I had a black lip. And he was like, I almost said his name. Did he do that? Did he do that to you? And I just kind of like shrugged it off.
If I had his address, I'd give it all to you.
Did he do that to you? And like, I just kind of tried to walk away, and I thought he was going to like beat his ass or something, but he was like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that to your girlfriend, you know? And that was it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, if this like full grown male like won't even help me and like sees that I have bruises on my face, then nobody's going to help me. So that's just, I did feel kind of hopeless, and thank God my family was able to help me, and he had nowhere else to go. So that's why he did have to go out of state. And that's really the only reason I felt safe after that, was knowing that he wasn't in the same state as me. And for someone that's been through it and is out of it now, I'm sure, like me, you still are insecure about some things. You know, you have self-doubt. You don't know if you're worthy of the life that you're living now. I mean, this might not speak for everybody, you know, but I guess there's like so many things I want to say, but I don't know how to like articulate it. Sorry. I need a second.
I'm proud of you. You don't have to keep saying if you don't want. You know, the message is out there is like, you know, it's very real stuff that happens. And a lot of people that are in the life of the person that it's happening to probably doesn't know, you know, and I would imagine that if this is you that it's happening to, you know, there's a lot of people that don't know. that you wish knew, but it sounds like what Cierra's saying is that, you're scared to tell them. I think you said one thing that make sure you talk to somebody you trust. I think that is key, right? And it's not always your girlfriend, right? Your girlfriend, girlfriends aren't loyal. Your girlfriend might think or might tell, the person that's abusing you. And because when you think about it, this person, they manipulate everyone around them, so they manipulate, which includes your friends. And if your girlfriend is still your girlfriend, knowing that you get the shit kicked out of you, then she is also manipulated by this person. And for whatever reason, believes that maybe you deserve it, or believes that it's not happening, or, is this person gets in that your girlfriend's head as well. So it's not your girlfriend who you think you can trust. You probably can't. My assumption is it would be family, your family. And hey, you might be in a position where your family fucking sucks.
And that's what I was going to say.
They don't care. They're not there for you. And in that case, you. And again, to be fair, I have never been through this situation, but I know when I found out, I was shocked that Cierra's family hadn't fucking killed this person yet. And people in her family have access to their address. And I'm like, why have you not done anything? But I guess then again, there is the legal system and all that bullshit. But, it's hard to understand if you're a family member when you find out, but at the same time, like, the goal is to just get you away, but you have to also, and again, I don't know, you can't be the person that says, I want to get away. And then when you see the abuser crying because you're leaving, because, you think he loves you.
Yep.
And they'll say whatever they can to manipulate you and to get you back. You can't be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then go back to him.
And if you're going through this, then you already know that that's exactly how it happens.
Yeah.
I'll never do it again.
And I'm sure that there's a lot of times where maybe you believed it.
Yeah.
And you went back. And so you have to be ready, I guess, which is unfortunate because you should just leave. But, but yeah, it's hard. I mean, I think the moral of what Cierra was saying was, just tell somebody, you might not have the know-how and or the strength to get out, but tell somebody like your family, the QT person, whatever, that can help hold you accountable to getting out and help you, come up with a plan. Or
another thing I just thought of was if you think someone close to you is being abused, if you suspect that you have a person in your life that might be being abused by someone, they probably are. People, you get good at hiding it. Mm-hmm. But I guarantee you that if you ask them, if you get a chance to have a real talk with them and just ask them if they're okay, they're going to immediately pour it out. They're going to tell you, because I can't speak for everybody, and I know that there's a lot of women that have been through way worse than me. So I don't want to talk on other people's behalves, but
for
if
you,
someone would have just asked me
you,
if I was okay, I would have poured it out right there. But nobody ever asked me what was going on. Nobody ever asked me if I was okay.
That's a great point and a great tip. Is phenomenal tip is to say that, because if and again, like you said, it's not for everybody, but in your circumstance, for you, if somebody would have just asked, hey, are you okay? Even if you had the reluctant, yeah, but if you truly suspect somebody's being abused and just, would it help for somebody to just call it out and say, hey, are you sure you're okay? Do you need help? And dig into it more. Yeah. And kind of, not the cliche, are you okay? And then you might have a scared answer of saying, yeah, yeah, why? Trying to find out what they know, or what they think they know, or what you think they know, or
yeah. And
whatever.
I mean, if you it's if you have a feeling that someone's being abused, you're already there. You won't let them just say no. You already have that gut feeling, so follow that gut feeling and just make sure they're okay, because you might be the person that saves them. Like I could have used that so many times, and nobody ever asked. So I mean, I feel very fortunate that I did get out of that situation and that I have the beautiful life I have now. It makes me proud of myself, which I don't think I've ever been able to say that I'm proud of myself for getting out of that, and then, finding my self-worth and knowing I am worthy of love and worthy of a good life. And if I can help anyone, like, it would just make it that much better. So I don't know.
So your best advice for somebody going through, if you think somebody you love is being abused, is talk to them. Yeah. Try to get it out of them, and then from there, just move forward and go for help.
Don't text them about it. Don't, because likely the abuser goes to their phone or has their phone at all times. So if you text and say, "Hey, are you okay? I think so and so might be hurting you," they're probably going to get hurt more. So This is not a text conversation. This is an in-person conversation. Definitely. I just wanted to add that.
Good point.
Yeah.
So, and then also when say you confront the person and say you are like, okay, like I'm going to leave. I'm going to get help, blah, blah, blah. Like, you probably want them to hold you accountable and follow up and stay and make sure, and not just let you say that, but then when you're face to face with the person,
Yeah.
and then your advice for the person who is the victim of the abuse is to just seek help from your family, from a safe haven, from anybody, and then get away and stay away. I mean, really, once you make that decision, you can't really be within eye contact of that individual ever again.
Yeah, no, and
because the manipulation is there, and they will probably hold a lot of weight on trying to convince you to come back to them.
Yeah.
And that they've changed and yada, yada.
Yeah. But I will say, once you know that person is gone and you get to relax a little bit, it's like a giant weight off your shoulders. Like yes, you might still be scared a little bit. You might be hesitant. You don't know what the future holds. But you will just feel like fucking finally, like you will feel like you're your own person again. You will
free.
Yes, you will feel free. You'll it'll take time, but you'll finally start to see what the future can hold. And it takes time, but you can build a beautiful life. You just have to do it. You just have to. You have to do it for yourself, really. Yeah.
And what about therapy?
Therapy, I'm kicking myself for waiting so long to do it.
So
it's
when you leave, get in it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would say it's something that needs to be done right away.
Specifically a trauma therapist?
Yes, definitely. I'm starting, or I'm doing EMDR, so that's the type of therapy I'm doing, which I guess is great for people that have dealt with trauma and have PTSD and stuff. So, yeah, I'm very, very newly in it, but I've already been able to talk about things and do exercises that I've already been able to implement into my daily life. Also, just talking about it and getting it out to someone just feels so good. Like, you can, like, I've told you things, but there's probably still things that you don't know, because I don't want to like share that stuff with you, because it's not things that you need to hear. There's no reason. So when if you know me, then you know that I'm like super awkward, super anxious.
She doesn't even tell you what she wants for dinner.
I don't want to talk to strangers. You know, it's something that I'm working on. But once I started seeing the therapist, after a few times, it just started to feel really good, and it made me feel really optimistic for the future. Just knowing that I'm taking care of myself now, and I don't know, it just feels really good because for so long I thought that it wasn't something that needed to be brought up again. I was like, why? What's the point in talking about it? It happened so long ago. But then my therapist is telling me, like, the way that you're sitting right now and like twitching your foot, that's because of trauma that you've been through. And it's just like really eye-opening to see the ways that, you know, the things you've been through, how they can still affect you in your daily life. Like, I never would have linked certain things together. So I'm just excited to go through it, I guess. I don't know. I never thought I would say that I'm excited to go through therapy, but it's nice being able to talk to someone and learn some new coping skills. Yep. I don't have the best of those.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, we went deep on our first episode back here. So, but no, it's important stuff. It's real stuff. And, you know, my hope for you is that if that's you, you know, seek the help, you know, get out of it, you know, whatever that looks like. If you maybe want some advice from somebody that has been through it, you know, you can always send, you know, whether anonymously or not, you can send an email to questions@uncensoredpodcast.com. And, you know, that would go straight to Cierra, and then she can see your email, and she can, you know, have a conversation with you. And if there's anything that she can do or say that can potentially help you in your situation, whether it be advice or guidance or whatever, you know, obviously we're happy to do so. So
I do have resources. I know places that can help, shelters if you have children, therapists.
I didn't even know the thing about the QT, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Good for QT, and that's Quick Trip gas stations if you don't know what QT is.
Yeah.
She's not talking about me, the cutie. She's talking about the gas station.
Yeah. If you run in and tell the cashier that you need a safe place to hide, they will immediately hide you.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good for them. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So again, this is the Uncensored Entrepreneurship Show, where we just talk about the shit we've been through in hopes that we can help you in any way, shape, or form. And, you know, again, that email is questions@uncensoredpodcast.com. So if you have any requests for topics, or if you have any follow-ups on some of the episodes that we've done, any questions, anything like that, you can always put them there. And until next week, you all have a phenomenal week.
Thanks for listening.
Push P. Yeah, push a P, turn me up. Turn me up, P. Pointers in the paddock, get my piece. I'm push a P.
Cop new hammers for my P. We don't want no peace.